What's the dumbest smallest thing you've ever traded sexual favors to obtain? When I worked the late shift at fast food, there was a manager I always flirted with. She came through on a night off to order something in the drive-thru. At the back window she asked me to put an extra fry in the bag, so being the clever, flirty wordsmith I am, I asked what's in it for me. She flashed me 10/10 memory. A co-worker was physically blocking my access to the printer. I said, "You suck." She said, "Only if asked nicely." While I don't remember the specifics after that, but I clearly must have asked nicely. Blocking access is clearly listed in sexual harassment manager courses as a no-no for this very reason. Not me. One of my interns, college student, had a girl he hooked up with before but didn't dig because the hookup wasn't good. He goes home for a visit, and when he gets back to his college apartment he realized he forgot his charger. Girl texts him, says she wants him to come over. His phone is on 2%, so he goes so he can use her charger. Literally traded sex for a charged phone. He hasn't lived it down yet. Had a small party at my college dorm, which had a private bathroom, and because I was providing the food and alcohol I had a small cover charge, $2. I joked to my GF that she had other ways she could pay me, and she said okay sure, so we went to the bathroom and she went down on me. The hottest thing she said in there was, "I'll still pay you the $2. Met my wife when she was a poor college student, once in Sears. She saw 2 blouses she liked but put them back down after seeing the price tags. Told her I'd buy them if she wore one for the rest of the day without a bra. She agreed with a big smile. My ex-wife and I gained a few pounds, so we started dieting. She broke down and offered me a blowjob if we could just have a burger for dinner. We had Red Robin that night. I've ate out my girlfriend to get her to wear a particularly saucy dress for date night. I just like her in that dress. My ex hated doing laundry at the one building we lived in because the laundry room was so far away from our apartment. Anyway, she traded sexual favors in exchange for me being in charge of doing the laundry. It was a good deal. Now however, I'm sadly a single dad doing laundry for no favors, and I'm finding it really difficult going back to non-sexual favor laundry. My wife has definitely traded blowjobs for me buying her Magic the Gathering cards. In college I took an alternative math class to fill my math portion of my major. The math course was in resource economics. The classroom we had it in had round tables like in a cafeteria, and we were all placed in groups we'd work with for the end of the year. The teacher emphasized we needed to learn Excel to the highest degree. I was by far the youngest as a freshman in a 300 level class. Absolutely nobody understood what the class was about or what we were doing. I retained near to nothing. Well, the pass-fail deadline had already gone and went, and I was doing quite terribly. Everything culminated to the final, and the homework wasn't due until the end of the semester. Naturally, I was pissed. I kind of accepted my demise as the semester wore down, swearing I'd take calculus instead next time when I failed. I was also single and trying to mingle. On Tinder I swiped this kid whose major was resource economics in his bio. I was astounded. No one was that major. I messaged him flirtatiously saying I was taking a res econ course and needed help on my homework. We ended up setting a hangout time so he could help me. I went to his dorm and pulled out my laptop while he did my homework and didn't even attempt to explain it to me. Halfway through he said, "Blowjob for me finishing the rest of your homework." I shrugged and said sure. I wasn't super attracted to him, but anything for free homework. I ended up giving him a 2-minute blowjob and left his room with 100% on my homework. Worst part was when we all went to take the final, the teacher announced before the test he understood how much this class sucked. He said we'd all be passing the class no matter how much work we did and getting at least a 60 on the final. Passed the class either way. I regret nothing. I would 100% do this for my English class right now, and I'm actually insanely jealous. I would probably do everyone in my class for a 80. Traded sexual favors for sexual favors in return once. Ended up with blue balls. The rule "don't feed to workmen until the job is done" could have been amended to help in this scenario. I wanted a glass of water. Didn't want to walk to the kitchen. Fiance was very happy with that one. I do this, but for food. I'll be on top for the next 2 times if you make me a grilled cheese. Just last night my fiance traded 2 tops for me to get him stuff because he's sick and doesn't want to get up. Coffee shop drinks or candy. When I was in college my parents were 2 hours away. Even so, my mom thought I was way too fat and needed to basically be starved out. Because they paid for my college, my parents were on my bank account and could see all transactions. Mom would go over them and scream at me if she saw any from coffee places or gas stations. No car, so the only reason to go was snacks, or if I took out cash to buy some. I lived in the dorm next door to this nice lesbian. We would spend time together because we both disliked our roommates. One thing led to another. I told her I was questioning my sexuality. She asks if I want to try, then buys me breakfast at the campus coffee shop the next day. I thanked her profusely and said it was very hard for me to get stuff like this. From then on, anytime she wanted to do something, she would knock on the wall between our rooms 3 times, or if we ran into each other, ask me if I would like a latte. I was tired, so I promised my boyfriend sex in exchange for him washing the dishes. No gadgets. Traded pics for money to buy glasses. Guy didn't pay. I still need glasses. It was stupid. I was going to say that you should have seen that coming. Then thought better of it. Edit. Thanks for the silver. So, I don't know how hard up you are, but you can get a pair of prescription specs for as little as $10 on the following website. Zenny Optical webpage. You'll need to have your prescription handy. Call the last eye doctor you saw and raise hell until they give it to you. They have to provide it by law, in my state at least, and your pupillary distance between the center of your pupils. You can measure it yourself if the eye doctor doesn't want to play ball, as they're not legally required to provide that. Frames range anywhere from the $10 plain circular ones I wear, up to about $70 or $80 for the very stylish ones. Prescription lenses without any special tint or coatings come free with the frames, and shipping is free so long as you don't mind waiting a week. No, I'm not a shill. Don't work there, or own stock. I just break my glasses very often and know how much it sucks to be broke. Solidarity. Edit. If in a week or 2 you still haven't got a pair, PM me and we'll get you a set of cheap specs for Christmas, New Year's, Festivus, whatever. No strings attached. No tips required. I once played Monopoly with a bunch of friends. 2 of them were a couple, and every so often they would nip into the next room and come back a few minutes later looking slightly ruffled. One would then give the other Monopoly money, a property, and after one long break, 2 train stations and Park Lane. I traded ejaculation for temporary happiness. Edit. My most upvoted comment is about post-nut depression. My wife and I were arguing over what food to order. I wanted teriyaki and she wanted pizza. We went down on each other and whoever came first lost. Joke's on her. I got pizza and she got half a pint of throat yogurt, plus pizza. Half a pint of throat yogurt might have to be the most disgustingly creative phrase I have ever heard. through yo. From now on, every time you have froyo, frozen yogurt, and you'll remember throat yogurt. Traded my ex an hour of pussy eating for the last pizza slice. Key term was I had to eat her for an hour before that slice was mine. Worst trade deal ever as I weren't even hungry after. The area under my chin was sore as fuck. My friend once breathed down a microphone over Skype, while the guy on the other end jerked off. For RuneScape money. A place to live. After I moved out, a place for my bad to stay till I got a place that accepted birds. Carl passed away in her care, though. Showed my tits for a pint of vodka. I was 16 and the guy was 26 and extremely overweight. Sometimes I feel bad. Sometimes I wonder how lonely you have to be to fuck with minors. There's usually a reason women his own age aren't talking to him, and honestly his weight probably wasn't it. Dudes who go after underage girls are doing it because older women have learned not to fall for some bullshit he likes to pull. I went to a concert in high school with this girl when we were 15. She showed someone her tits for his hat. Traded sex with this girl from the bar for cigarettes and beer. Wasn't a terrible trade-off, but now that's what she does when she notices my pack getting low or if I'm drinking water. Saved me a bit of money so far. This guy I had been hooking up with said he would pay me $2 and watch a scary movie with me if I fucked him. A baby. I did want it. I'm just pregnant, sober and slightly bitter about it now. P. Ex-girlfriend offered a BJ for the remote control to the TV so she could watch a show. I didn't care but said sure, but you gotta suck me for the entire length of the show. Meant as a joke. But she proceeded to as we watched, actively during the commercials. Just sorta laying her head on my stomach and gently while the show played. I thought it was great but told her after it was all over I could care less about TV. In high school, I gave a guy a blowjob in exchange for the fuzzy dice he had hanging in his car. I bumped into my ex and she offered to buy me a new phone if I'd sleep with her one more time. Just what sort of man does she think I am? Sent from my iPhone 11. I offered my husband a blowjob once if he'd change our kid's next diaper. My BF and I used to do head rub head. I gave him head while he massaged my head. I think we both agreed it was a fair trade, lol. Bag of Jolly Ranchers for a BJ. TBH, it was probably the biggest push for me to question my sexuality. I'm still good friends with her, though. I had sex with my ex because I was worried he would break up with me if I didn't. He was 26, and I was 18. I was going through a lot and simply not ready, but he said he'd leave me and go find someone else. My self-esteem was shit and I didn't have any friends besides him, so I slept with him and still regret it. I didn't realize how much of an asshole he was until after we broke up. That's shitty, no one deserves that. I hope you're in a better place now. Thanks, I really am. I was single for a while and now I'm with someone who treats me so much better. I honestly didn't realize how shitty my ex was until I met my current BF and he treated me the way I wish I had been treated all along. I fucked a girl in my class because she wanted to trade a Nintendo Switch with Link's Awakening for her virginity. Best deal ever. Not me, but had an underage friend once who, against our advice, had sex with a guy in her car for a bottle of vodka to bring to my birthday party. After he made her pay for half of it, she brought it back to the party but left early annoyed because not one person other than her drank any of it. I traded sex with my BF to have 100% uninterrupted snuggling time. No video games or phones. Got hammered drunk on Bourbon Street without planning ahead. Needed a room for the night. Whale of a good time, was in town on business and making the moves. Back to her room. Did the deed. Fell into a coma. Rolled out early. Not my proudest, but got laid and didn't get in a bind on the street. I taught a friend how to squirt in exchange for a Big Mac. I was not hungry, nor out of money. I just wanted to taste a Big Mac to see if it was worth it, without actually having to pay for it. An ex loved to pop pimples. I had a bunch on my back at that time. We were both like 16-17, but hated when she popped them. So she offered a blowjob for each pimple she could op. I got a lot of BJs that week. I took it up the ass in hopes that he would be my boyfriend, or at least a FWB, but it turned it to neither, so I was fucked, in more ways than one. A Domino's pizza. My ex was extremely pushy, so I didn't do special things in bed. Went all out with my exceptional mouth skills for that pizza. Regretted it. So you've been holding back. I expect this from now on. Then I broke up with her. My wife gave me a beach for getting the newborn to sleep, but once he was asleep I didn't want to wake him by putting him down. When he's 18, I'll tell him how I got a beach from his mom while he slept in my arms. Did your mom for a Klondike bar? What would you do for a Klondike bar?